viewers, karibuni sana to another episode of ecoSokoni. This time round, we're going to look at hydroponics. We're going to visit our hydroponics farm in Juja, where we're going to learn so many things. So tag along with us into this informative session.
This is their samples.
So where do you remove these pumice?
This from Adema Island. We'll talk to.
Na mnanunua bag moja ni kg ama sacks ama?
So basically it depends on how, let's say, connected or how familiar you are with that place. Because this one appears as a natural resource in that area. Where there is a, let's say, volcanic eruption like Mount Longonot, you will find this kind of item as naturally occurring naturally. So unaweza enda mahali muelewane na a person in charge of that place. You want to take some 2 or 3 lorries according to the way muta elewana. Although there are some companies set aside in industrial area that deals with hydroponic equipment. So I think they sell it at a price if you inquire from them.
Okay. So what you do with the plant? So this is what your inert
media. We call it a media.
A media, yeah.
Before you embark on production of equipment, this particular media, this kind of ash and kind of salt. It's called carbonates. It's a bicarbonate, so it cuts some particular salt. So those salts can support the ocean.
You wash it from here?
Yeah. At beginner's level.
Once imewekwa kwa hiyo something like a trough, we call it maple trough. So once we put it there, we treat it. So treating it is basically to reduce the amount of salt in it, to make it more neutral. And that's why in hydroponics we do a lot with the pH. So there is a range of a pH that it must have, and that is
also the EC.
And the EC, electrical conductivity
or extent capacity.
Okay, so let me ask you, as you're moving, what do you treat it with?
We treat it with the food nitric acid.
Food nitric acid?
Yeah, food nitric acid.
It's like some sort of fertilizer or
It's not a fertilizer.
It's something you buy from agricultural shop or something.
From agricultural shop. And acid. And acid, we use it to lower the pH.
Of that
media.
pumice.
Yeah, of the pumice. So like sometimes when you buy it, it comes with a pH of 10, 11, 12. But for agricultural purpose, we need a pH of 5.5 to 6.5. So we use the acid. There is a requirement amount that we put so that to reduce the pH to 5.5 to 6.5. And then we also use plain water
to remove the bicarbonate ions now.
Plain water?
Yes.
Okay. To remove the bicarbonate?
And also there are certain pesticides, fungicides that will integrate in the system to kill any kind of pathogen that may exist in that particular human.
So I was reading somewhere that for hydroponics, the most suitable water to use is distilled water.
Yes.
So you guys don't use distilled water?
Okay, that's why
you're using
the water we use, we kind of treat it. It is borehole water. And borehole water comes with the elements that is found in those rocks that are found there. So once we take the water, we put it on a tank, we treat it before we use it.
Wow. So in short, this thing, before you start it, you need like some capital,
capital. It's capital intensive actually, very capital intensive. So that water must be treated because there are certain fungal infections that can be bacterial wilt, and there are also soil-borne and waterborne diseases. Not waterborne, but they're kind of water host. It's a kind of a host to them. So you need to do testing before you embark on production. What really can really limit the production. So if any other water is infected, you must remove. As in,
So let me ask you, all this is hydroponics?
It is hydroponics.
All of them?
Yes.
So which crops do you, is it the vegetables which can only do very well because of the short time period? Like, yeah, I'm asking which crops, which fruits.
Yeah. So hydroponics basically is fit for vining vegetables and the short vegetables. And
Vining vegetables.
like these ones, the capsicum.
Twinning ones.
Yeah,
Twining.
twinning ones. These are kind of.
This
it
is capsicum.
This is capsicum. You will see it later. So basically hydroponics, since he has just said it is kind of capital intensive, you can't put a crop that cannot give back what you have invested. So it needs a high valued crop. And basically the crops which we do here is capsicum, tomatoes, and apart from that we also do the vegetables like of kales, spinach, the dania, broccoli, cucumber. Yeah, so you get like most of these the other vegetables like kales and broccoli and whatever. There is another technique we use which is not this one. We use the cups, the plastic cups, and the format we call it NFT, that is nutrient film technique, whereby the cups is just to hold more of them. We utilize the space. You can get a space of this greenhouse, but you can hold like 3,000 vegetables inside it. So being that maybe the price might be low, but you hold 3,000 vegetables, it might bring back the money you invested on it. Yeah, so there are different techniques of hydroponics which we will discuss, and different kinds of plants are operated with different types of hydroponics techniques. Like for this system, this we call it a drip system, or you can as well call it ebb and flow system, whereby we use pumice, and the pumice is just to hold the roots.
The roots,
and why do we use the pumice and this technique is for these are for big plants that cannot you need to support them well so that they could not fall down. And that's why you can see the pumice are full to the brim on the maple troughs, and zimeshikilia the plant vizuri. So the actual practice in this, we feed the tank with the nutrient solution, and
Is it this tank?
Yeah, this is the tank.
Is it the same tank you're still purifying the water?
Yeah, once we put water there, we treat that water first before you put the nutrients. And we use the likes of sodium hydroxide and sometimes acid as well.
Acid?
Yes, to regulate the pH. And the acid we use is food grade nitric acid, not any other acid. Yes, so which is recommended for food. Yeah, so once we put the nutrients here, we open, we can open the valve, and then the nutrient solution will run through the drips.
This it's connected to all these
no, each and every greenhouse has it. Like this tank is for this greenhouse, that tank is for that greenhouse. Za hizi ziko huko nyuma. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
but waxing also can also apply the central system where you only feed one single tank.
Yeah.
It applies in several farms. But since here we are different companies, and one want to do key day-to-day management, with a kind of single units. Like for instance, you got tank yake, this one tank. Yeah. But for central system, it works.
Okay. This is quite impressive.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing the different names.
Those are names of companies.
Oh, so different companies have different
names. Like this is Bayazan Green Growers. This is my company.
Bayazan is yours?
Yeah, Bayazan is mine, and we are doing capsicum inside there.
So do you pay rent for this land?
Yes.
You pay rent for the... So you came and set up your tent, everything, but then you're paying for just the not the
so
water.
you make a contract with them, whereby you list the land, like in hydroponics, like maybe any investment, this thing needs more time. So you get a person who can give you a deal of, let's say, 5 years. Like for this case, this land we have listed for 10 years. So I can do my things without nobody doing
disturbing you. So it's just the land, yes, you've leased. So that means for water, you have your own borehole somewhere.
We are sourcing. We are
We are
sourcing
currently
water.
sourcing water, but we're currently planning to do
A borehole here.
on
Yeah.
site because of the several regulations that comes with our supplier. Yeah, but yeah, the treatment level that we desire to have, we can't accomplish that because we want to integrate the UV system treatment method where you treat water before you supply to the crops. Yeah.
So let me ask you. I've seen you guys are applying the pumice, but when I was doing my research for hydroponics, you'll find they don't even use the pumice. It's just
Water.
yeah.
Now there are different types of hydroponic
Oh
systems.
no, that's where you come in and say the
yeah.
different types.
Now, the one you're talking about is called deep water
culture.
Or deep water culture.
Deep water culture.
And,
And it depends on the type of crop. Now, for instance, this one is a distributed crop, which means it needs kind of stability for it to grow. See this crop, it requires kind of support and encourage. Now, the premise to do that particular work. Now, for instance, vegetable, just put them in a cup, then you grow them.
Yeah.
You know, the water comes rotational basis, a kind of a cycle. Yeah.
And it's also for water-loving plants. There are some plants which you dip them in water for a long period of time, the roots will rot. Yeah, so the deep water culture is for deep water for water-loving plants like lettuce. Mostly, it is used to do lettuce. Yeah.
So let me ask you. So hydroponics is only advised for, like, let's say, just for someone who just wants to put this thing in their home for their kitchen garden.
No, hydroponic basically the idea came to make a solution that you get that most of the farmers encounter challenges, and the challenges encountered by farmers, number one is pest. Number two, diseases. So hydroponic system was brought to, and number three was nutrition. You get that with the soil, as it rains and the plants feed, the nutrients in it get leached day by day. So you get, there's a time when you plant your crops, they maybe the sulfur
and you have to, like, after panda, you have to wait for some time
for some times for the soil to get back its virginity back. So you get that that's how hydroponics came to solve this problem. Now the problem of nutrition, you get that we give the plant the required nutrient at the required time.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why we prepare our own nutrients to depend kwa ile yenye iko kwa mchanga. So we mix nutrient on a daily basis, on a daily basis, and we feed the plant at the required time. Number two, in hydroponics, like we have set up the greenhouses, the greenhouse do away with the pest. You get that it is hard for pest to penetrate, and wherever it penetrates, it is in a lesser percent.
Exactly.
Yeah. And number three, when we talk of diseases, we don't want to see soil inside our structures. And we get that the diseases comes with soil. Like when you look at the history of this area, we are being told that they did coffee over so many years back, and coffee, you get that there are some plants which they might have a certain disease which might not affect them, but once you uproot that plant, the disease will remain there. For this case is bacterial wilt and fusarium wilt, which is a serious disease. So when we set up hydroponic system, we don't use that soil, so that means that the disease is left out. Yeah. So the soil disease and any other pathogens cannot get in there. And that's why for hydroponic farmer, you must be very, very cautious with soil. When you get in there, make sure that whatever soil, whatever clothes you have doesn't have any soil that can.
It's that sensitive.
It is sensitive. It is sensitive because magonjwa ziko tu hapa. And that's how hydroponics solve the solution to the farmers.
So how long have you been doing hydroponics, you guys?
6 months now.
6 months.
Yeah.
And what is it something is it sustainable for you as a Kenyan? Is it something, do you think there's a market for hydroponics?
It's very sustainable.
Okay, let's start with you guys personally. Since you started and now where you are right now, I'm seeing that doing well. So are you can you say you're getting some form of return for yourself to support
what I can say about hydroponics is that we found out that people love hydroponics fruits than any other fruit done conventionally, because we give the plants with the required nutrient. And just to say is that there is no day, we have a charcoal cooler there, there is no day our crops have been in the charcoal cooler for 2 days. That means they are hotcakes. Yeah, so like the market department have never disappointed us, because they go. Our buyers, customers, like, they love our produce. And the reason why they love it is that the content inside it is much better than the one which is grown on using the soil, because you get that in the soil it depends. Maybe today the land might have the required elements that is needed by the plant, but tomorrow it might not be there. So you get that in most of the crops which are produced conventionally, they vary with the content of sugar inside and whatever. But in hydroponically, it is a consistent sweetness every day, and that's why our market is so high.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can you say, because you're not depending on soil? Okay. I don't know. I don't want to use that word greenhouse, but can you say you can grow, vegetables which are very seasonal because of the weather, so can you say this capsicum, do you grow it throughout the whole year?
So the best thing in hydroponics is that season does not affect us. We grow the crops all the time, because like everything, we don't depend on nature. So once you have water, you have electricity, you are good to go, and you have your nutrients, you are good to go. Okay, so I think my friend here will help to tell us how our hydroponic system works, so that and everything inside.
There was part B of that question.
Okay.
You've said it's sustainable for you guys.
Yeah.
So you remember that time for quail eggs? The way it came.
Yeah, imagine.
Then within 6 months, it was just so much in the market, and it lost its value. So hydroponics.
So
ikiingia kwa market, do you think even if so many people take it up, it's still something which Kenyan farmers can take, because agriculture is the most economic, it's the most viable economic activity in Kenya. 74% do it.
So what I can say is that about quail, we call it quail or what? Quail egg. It was emerging. It was something that people didn't know about it, and people came to know about it, and then that's how it ended. But something like tomato, capsicum is something that has been there. People use them. So what we are just doing in hydroponics is just to change. Kama watu walikuwa napika ugali na jiko, sasa tunatumia gas, and the product is still the same. So and what the product we are making is better than what it was being made some years ago. So like hydroponics is here to stay. There is no day mtu atalia ati hydroponics is, because it is not a product. It is a way of making a product better. Yeah.
Just to add on what he has said, to emphasize more, there's a high demand for food, agricultural food in the country, even outside the world. Right now Africa imports, also exports food production at a cost around 21 billion according to FAO. Now, in 2022, it's going to upscale to a higher amount, which means there's a gap that needs to be filled by the farmers. Now, this system, it allows you to grow whole season. As you have said, season does affect our production, because we do intermediate varieties, which means varieties can grow up to 1 year. For instance, this crop is 6 months old, but we're expecting to go up to the ninth month. And sometimes under good management, under 12 months. So season does not come in our production. The only thing that affects us is a little bit temperature, because temperature fluctuation affects production. For instance, when it is too cold, production goes down. Goes low. Now, that will give a chance for the farmers also to take over. But if you do, for instance, you have so many greenhouses, a quarter an acre, what you can produce in under quarter an acre as compared to what you can produce under 3 greenhouses is much what the gap is so huge, because this one is the shrubet. It's something you're sure of getting.
Yeah, and there are no challenges of pests and the soil things,
the disease.
So you've said better products. Does it mean the yield here it's more expensive? because of the quality? Do you sell it the market rate right now for, like, I don't know how, if you sell it in sacks or cartons? Is it charged higher?
Okay. Like for instance, for capsicum, we sell at 100 shillings per kg. Farm gate value, the farm gate price, I mean. Now, outside, like for instance, go to supermarket, a capsicum will go up to 343 shillings per kilo. Now, that makes us exempted. You know, it's a kind of exemption of products. But we can't really say hydroponics and open field products are kind of different because you can't tell.
Oh, you can't tell.
You can't tell actually. If you go to the market to get a product from hydroponic system and a product from open field, it's the same product.
No, as in when these people are coming for the capsicum at farm gate, do you charge them more than when those other farmers who are using soil farming? Who charges the people?
I think we treat them as the same product, but as the same thing. We just give the market price with the market price that contains maybe farmers from open field, and what we are just doing is that to make sure that we curb our customers, whatever we give them will make them keep coming to us. Yeah.
I think
so in fact, you just use the same rates as the other farmers?
The same rates.
The only advantage we have is the quality now.
The quality
kind of differs.
And because it's the same rate and the quality is better, of course they will always be coming back.
It is always a hot case. So, like yesterday, we harvested and you cannot get a single capsicum or tomato in the stores because they are hot cakes.
So kuna watu wanafanyanga hydroponics in like enclosed rooms, underground.
Even in your house.
Yeah. So mbona mumeona this greenhouse is the best for you guys?
Yeah, since we are doing them commercially, and our main aim here is make money. So we don't want to bring some doubts that like pest. For you to control pest, greenhouse is the better part of it. And also apart from pest diseases, greenhouse limits some diseases because it is a controlled compound, which you are the one controlling it. It's kind of artificial nature you are making using a greenhouse, which you cannot use it when you are doing it open field, in an open field nature. Though hydroponics, you can also do it without a greenhouse, so long as you set the tank, the maple traps and everything. But now it will bring a challenge, that the challenge will come whereby you don't need soil to get into your pumice, because soil is the one bringing the diseases. But when you are in an environment where you can curb the soil to come in, let's say apartment, many people do hydroponics in their apartments where the soil
like there's this hotel, I think it's in London. They do it, you know, the hotel is in a building, so they just do it. They've just set up a room behind there, and they grow the spices. So it's so fresh when it comes from the system to the plate.
Okay, I think that all depends on the type of crop as well. Because there are crops that are sunlight-loving crops, the likes of capsicum, tomatoes. They love the sun. But if you compare a system where you use infrared lights, like for instance the red light, infrared red, infrared green, yellow. Now, there are certain crops that can do well under that particular system. And if you can integrate them, even underground, you can do hydroponics underground, as long as you spread them with light. Because light is very important during photosynthesis. This is very simple science.
So easy mliave.
These are the terminating. They want to start another season. So they are terminating greenhouses. Wamesha harvest for the entire season.
It's kwani kuna greenhouse season kama.
Okay, the season is that when you grow this plant, it will take 3 months to mature. Then you'll harvest it for 6 months, and then you terminate the season. You start it again.
Okay, so what's the process of starting again?
The process, you start by treating it again, treating the pumice again, transplanting again.
You have to treat the pumice again?
Again, yes.
The pumice which you had used?
Which you had used. Because now, once you grow them, pengine kulikuwa na diseases kidogo, kulikuwa na pest kidogo yenye walikuja. So you need to do with them, to do away with them again as you start fresh.
Don't touch the plant.
I keep to myself.